Do you like big things? I like big things. Do you like That's my second favorite thing. Welcome to the Monsters. Damn.
You can actually do that. She said
Yes.
she was gonna do it. Yes,
That was
okay,
really
that's
good.
funny.
That's
really
it.
funny.
That's it. That's great.
sticking. All right. Welcome everybody to the Monster Zone, the Titanosaurus Zone, where we talk about classic. We talk about classic and some not so classic monster movies from the past. And who do I mean by we? Of course, I mean our co-host here, Mr. Parker.
He's somewhere.
Hi. What's up, everybody?
Lovely wife,
Hello.
Mr. Loy Sauce, who joined us for this, was our first guest on this pokey little show.
Welcome back.
Hello. I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
Yes,
And I am the conductor of this. Oh, go ahead, Parker.
Oh no, I'm just saying you were definitely like one of the first people I had in mind
Yes.
when we decided to do this Godzilla month, because we had to put you through the tortures of 3.5 hours of talking about Godzilla 98. So we said we got to bring him on for one he
Redemption.
probably likes. So
Yes.
and he will enjoy talking
I
about.
I much preferred talking about Godzilla 98 than watching it.
There you go.
There
Hey.
you go. That's probably what people like with our show. Like, well, I'll talk about it a little bit. I don't want to listen to it for 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
But anyway,
It was
I'm the conductor of
fun.
this
Go
train
listen to
wreck.
it if you haven't
Yeah,
already.
Yes,
go listen to
please.
it. He's fucking hilarious, and it was a good time. We all had a good time. But I'm the
Yes.
conductor of this train wreck, Dan. So today
This ain't no train wreck.
is gonna be.
Be positive.
Oh no, it's gonna be awesome though.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
dude, like if you like, are you just not gonna watch a video about a train wreck? Like, oh, it's fucking sweet. It sucks that people get hurt, but it was fucking sweet. So, anyway, today, as wife alluded to, we are going to be talking about a Godzilla movie, which this will be free to everybody. So if you've never been on Patreon before, this could be one of the first times you've seen it, because we have had free episodes in the past. But before we get into what movie we're talking about today, here's the softball question. I'm gonna start with Mr. Loy Sauce
Okay.
here.
I feel like I'm
What
in
have
the
you
hot
been
seat.
doing? What's something you've been doing
Oh,
that's not podcast related? Just anything
Oh.
that you've been having going on. It's not podcast related.
I mean, it's very on brand. It's very on theme. But I've been buying a lot of Godzilla shit. Just in the past week, I have purchased 2 of the little blind box figures. The Godzilla official coloring book, the Godzilla Encyclopedia, the original 1954 film on 4K Ultra HD. What else? I hosted a Godzilla mystery double feature at the Alamo Draft House where I work, where we showed. Oh my God, what did we show? Mothra versus Godzilla and Godzilla versus Hedorah.
Good
I also
choices.
moved. Thank you. I also moved this past month, so that was a big, undertaking. But things are starting to settle down a little bit, and I'm finally able to do things like shoot the shit about Godzilla with you guys.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, I'm gonna ask you a couple questions. Okay. Hopefully, your move went well, as
Thank
well as a
you.
move can go.
Yeah, it went pretty smooth. We hired movers this time around, which was just the best idea ever. So much less stress than if we had moved all of our stuff ourselves. But yeah, we love the place, love the area, so it's going good.
All right, good deal. Well, we'll talk more about that surely as the episode goes on. But Mr. Parker, what's something you've been doing for the last month?
Oh, for the
Actually, it's been like 2 weeks.
For the last month. I mean, for me, it's just
Anything.
October was busy. 2 of my 3 kids have birthdays at the end of October, so it's a lot of birthday parties and doing things with them, and Halloween, of course, and yeah, just my life is watching movies, like just spending time with my family and watching movies. So I've been trying to watch movies that have nothing to do with our podcasts. It's harder as we add more stuff to our plate, but I've been checking things out here and there. I don't even know what I've to be honest, what I've watched this month other than Godzilla movies and horror movies.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's life.
That doesn't sound all that bad.
It's very exciting. It's like, man, I wish I had that guy's life. Yeah, that's
what happens when you get married? Your life just ends. So you're just like, it's over.
No,
Rip.
I can't say that.
No, I'm just kidding.
My wife wasn't around. I'd probably be like a blob in a corner somewhere. So,
yes, I can relate. Wife.
What have I been doing?
Yeah, what have you been doing?
Well, today I worked with you, and you were mean.
That is not true.
I believe it.
I am cheeky and fun.
He was
okay.
he was talking about me, and he wouldn't tell me what he was saying.
Damn, what is this? Middle school?
Yeah, I'm calling you out.
But see, that's not even fair. Would you want me to call you out for what you were doing at work to me at work today?
I touched your butt.
That's sexual
okay.
harassment.
That's okay.
All right. Technically her supervisor. You can't do that. No cheek touch. She's trying to dust my fanny. I'm like, get out of here. There's people. Stop.
No, in all seriousness, I have been trying to watch different movies that we are not covering that he doesn't want to watch. So I've just been picking and choosing randomly.
Could you throw a couple titles out there for us?
I'm trying to remember.
You watched the VHS.
Oh yeah, I watched VHS the 94 and 99.
Oh, you gotta check out Beyond.
Those were...
Beyond is good too.
Yeah, I haven't made it that far yet. I just finished watching those two in the last couple days. 94 was really good. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It was very, very, very good. I tried to watch Parasite, and I was busy doing other stuff, and I can't read and do other stuff.
Yeah, that's definitely a movie
time,
you can't be like throwing up.
You have to be locked in.
Yeah.
I was pretty excited about watching it too.
Not overly impressed with that man's work that I've seen. No offense, it's just not my thing.
Yeah, that's why I picked to choose it.
Oh yeah,
I did not care for Parasite, and I felt like an alien from another planet when that movie came out. Because I mean, I can't deny it's extremely well directed, but especially like the logistical leaps that you have to take with that story, especially in the third act. And then it won Best Picture, and I was like, okay. I mean, I'm glad it won Best Picture, but it just wasn't for me. I like his stuff generally. I liked The Host, his monster movie.
Yeah,
I'm well known for not liking The Host.
There we go. That's totally fine.
I watched it and I was just like,
yeah, I've seen
it's a well-made movie. I'm not saying it's shit. I'm just like, I watched it one time. I was like, I don't need to see this again.
Not a patch on Godzilla.
Yeah.
No, it's not even that. Like, I watched a lot of other kaiju movies that I did fucking adore, and like this just wasn't it. Just didn't do it for me.
Did you ever watch?
Oh, sorry. I watched it for the first time this year, actually a few months ago, because I was asked to go on a podcast and talk about kaiju movies, and
it's like they asked the wrong host. But go ahead.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding, Parker. Dude,
I don't even remember I don't even know which one I picked, but the host picked the host, and so I got to experience it for the first time. I enjoyed it for what it was. It was unique. It definitely was something different in the genre. And I've just been really getting into a lot of like Korean horror, just Korean films in general, because I think they're just really well done. I mean, Train to Busan is probably one of my favorite like zombie movies of all time. So, yeah. Or sorry, Brian. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask Dan if he had seen, or if any of you had seen The Lake.
I have not. That was on my list of ones to see, and I was like, I gotta watch The Lake, and then Life, and I'm like, I forgot.
Yeah, we talked about it, I think, on a show one time, because it was when it was releasing, and it was like, oh, that looks really interesting, and then I think it just escaped all of our minds. Like, I don't even think I looked it up after that, but now that we're mentioning it, I am going to put that on my watch list.
I mean, sure. It has some of the most. It has some of the most impressive, like, practical creature effects that you'll see in one of these movies, which just makes it so unbelievably frustrating that everything else around it is just complete ass.
Oh, boy.
Oh, that sounds familiar. That sounds like Dragon Wars.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, Weta did a really good job with the effects. Like, the effects are great, and this movie's like, this is just really drab.
Well, the script to Dragon Wars was whack because it's so tonally all over the place, and like it's trying to be like a fun Hollywood blockbuster, but then also try to be like a classic kaiju movie, and like those two things don't really mix well together. But Yeah, I suppose the lake is worth watching if you dig on like animatronics and puppets and that sort of thing. But wow! Talk about a movie that completely shits the bed in the third act. Speaking of which, but anyway, I just was curious if any of you had seen it because it's kind of in your wheelhouse, I would imagine.
The list.
Yeah,
Again.
it's on the ever long list of things to check because like we the amount of time we have to watch movies outside of what we cover is the time is
know.
very, very small. So
It's not kaiju related at all, but I just watched a film beautifully done called Memoir of a Snail. I have not cried harder at a movie in forever. But it's this beautiful stop motion animated film from Australia, and it was very moving and darkly funny. And I just watched that recently, so I would recommend that to all of you and to all of you listening. Memoir of a Snail.
I saw
Bring
There
tissues.
you go.
I saw that people had seen it on Letterboxd, and I was like, "What is this?" I hadn't seen anything about it. So now I am definitely very interested, especially if it's stop motion. I'm sold on anything stop motion. What about you, Dan? What have you been doing?
Yeah. Okay. No. Shit. Okay, listen. Couple things. Still playing Tarkov. This is gonna come late. The fucking zombie event is pure ass. Like, don't play it. The game's practically unplayable.
It's okay. I don't play
Like,
it
you might as well
anyways.
just spawn in. But it's not just for you.
Oh,
But that's fair.
I can't give
That's
my
fair.
opinion on it. I don't play it.
No, absolutely not. No, that's good. But you might as well just start the match, drop all your equipment, drop a grenade on the ground, blow yourself up. You probably get more shit done. It's not entirely unplayable. It's just obscenely difficult. I don't think I've been doing much. I guess I played more Magic. I've been outside of doing the normal. I started playing Magic again. I was on a
You're
hiatus.
working on your truck.
I'm working on my truck. We took the bed off of it. That was fun.
That sounds like
That's about it.
time.
That's a good time. Oh, it wasn't that bad. It's a lot better crawling underneath it and dropping the gas tank. The bed's just 9 bolts. The gas tank is just is the epic struggle at the end of this movie. Like, you battle that fucking tank. But no, that's it. Like, nothing super exciting for me. Like I said, just doing the usual. They just announced the Godzilla card game. I'm a sucker for card games. You bet your ass I'm going to play it, and it probably won't be any good. But that'll be okay.
Oh, and you ordered our mats.
I ordered mats. Yeah.
I got a Ghidorah one.
Yeah, and I got a Mechagodzilla mat for playing cards.
Nice.
It's gonna be dope. Show a Mechagodzilla, the good one.
Oh, I got my double pack of Tokyo SOS and Final Wars for our Final Wars episode recording that'll be coming up soon. So I now have
Can't wait.
I now have some Godzilla movies on physical since it's impossible to get any for a decent price if you don't already own them.
Yeah.
Well, the Criterion
those-
stuff. Oh, good. Sorry. Go ahead, Lloyd.
Please. Well, I wonder how many times that's going to happen during this recording. I was just going to say I have a little bit of insider knowledge, I guess. So I tried to book one of the Millennium Era films for this mystery double feature, and I've since learned that all of the films that have been previously issued by Sony have now reverted back to Toho. And I don't know if this is a good thing, if they're just going to hold on to them forever, or if they're planning something, some kind of release, some kind of, I don't know if they're going to be acquired by Criterion like the others. I do know for a fact that at the very least, Return of Godzilla and Godzilla vs. Biollante are part of the Criterion collection. They just haven't been released yet. So fingers crossed that we didn't get to show the film that I wanted, and I had to scramble and figure out a plan B. But I mean, I did get the confirmation that Toho now owns those Heisei and Millennium Era films.
Is it for because I know there are sometimes different licenses or usually different licenses. Is that just for display purposes, like a theater or a presentation or whatever, or is it for home video release as well?
It's for theatrical exhibition specifically, but those films had previously been bookable by Sony. So for example, like we showed GMK, Giant Monsters All Out Attack. We've shown Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. Like we've shown Heisei era films and Millennium era films at the theater before through Sony, and now they're no longer with Sony. So yeah.
Well, I would assume Toho's probably going to handle it at this point because they're doing the physical. They're doing the release for -1. Like that's all them. Like that's not through another distributor. So it wouldn't surprise me if they're like, yeah, we're just going to handle it ourselves. Fuck it.
Well, hopefully they do right by the fans, because a lot of these films have just been unavailable for far too long, and there's no reason to be litigious about it at this point.
Some new transfers would be nice. No offense, but especially for the Heisei films. Good God.
Yes. I mean, even just watching Terror of Mechagodzilla on Blu-ray, it's like, I feel like this should look better than it does.
Well, we're getting some new 4Ks. Did you watch the Godzilla you bought yet? The original on 4K?
I haven't put it in yet, but we screened the 4K restoration. Was it last year? Or a couple years ago, I guess, when they had like that big Godzilla Day celebration, and so I have seen the 4K transfer on the big screen, just not. I haven't popped the disc in yet.
Does it look good? I don't know anything. I haven't heard anything.
I mean, it doesn't look pristine. It certainly looks better than the Blu-ray does, but
I wonder, depends on how much funding they have to allocate to the restoration. So
yeah, and just like the quality of film stock that the Japanese film industry was working with at that time, which, from my understanding, it wasn't good. So
no, probably not in post-war Japan.
Right. Now that we've bored our
we got to talk about this shit.
It's important. It's about Godzilla. What do we talk about today, Dan?
It is topical. It's relevant. So today's film, we are going to be discussing the 1975 movie. Sorry, you said film, so I got to mix it up. Terror of Mechagodzilla, which we are during this month also covering 1974 Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. So you are getting the back-to-back duo of films.
Yeah. This will be released right after our episode of Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. So you guys will get one on Friday, and then this will be out on a Monday. So you guys will get 2 in a week. It'll be great. It'll be a lot of fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Before we get into it, do you have any casting background tidbits you want to talk about before we start with the synopsis?
Again, as I always do on these episodes, I just want to apologize in advance. As I can't even say most English names correctly, so trying to pronounce Japanese names, I try my best. So I apologize.
Just hit the big actors.
But Ishiro Honda is back as director.
Yep.
We just let's see. I'm trying to think. We're going to be talking about him again this week, right? He directed Ghidorah, the Three-Headed Monster, which will be the episode that you'll get this coming Friday. I'm trying to we're with all the recordings in advance. I'm trying to remember when things get released. So yeah, he's back in the director's chair after not directing Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. Correct.
He didn't direct for a long time.
Yeah,
he was Jun Fukuda for like years.
Yeah, because we talked about how that was his last Godzilla film, and then Honda came back for this one the very next year.
And this is his last Godzilla film.
All right, there you go. It was written by Yukiko Takayama. It stars
female screenwriter, baby.
Yeah, first solely female screenwriter for a Godzilla film.
That's awesome.
Represent.
It stars Katsuhiko Sasaki as Akira Ichinose or Ichinose. Is it when it's an E? Yep. Is it A? Is that you would pronounce it? Okay.
Ish.
Tomoko Aya as Katsura Mifune, which is the doctor, right? Oh, no, the doctor. No, yes. that was the daughter. Katsura was the daughter.
Yes.
Okay. Akihiko Hirata as Dr. Shinzo Mifune, which is the doctor.
Who played Dr. Sarazawa in the original 1954.
Yes. I could tell in this one. 100% could tell in this one. Because, throw that freaking eye patch on him. There he is.
Trading his eye patch for an unconvincing wig and mustache.
I
hey,
was just
listen.
about to mention that, but I was like, I'll wait till we actually talk about the movie. But yeah,
It's cool.
Wow.
It's cool to have him as a full-blown villain, though. Like, he's like the bad guy.
He even
Sweet,
has an
dude.
evil laugh in this movie, and it's great.
He does.
Katsumasa Uchida as what's a J sound in Japanese? Is it like a J sound in English?
Mm-hmm.
A J?
Yeah.
Okay.
I occasionally say like a Y sound because it's a bad habit from German.
Okay,
I'm
Jiro Murakoshi was the Interpol agent. That was the guy with the cool hair, with the good hair, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's Ichinose's friend. They went to college.
Yeah. Agoro Matsume as Mughal, or the black hole alien leader. Is this the same guy from the last one?
Different character, same.
But it's the same guy. Okay, I was like, wait a second, he died in the last one. He just remembers he had those glasses on.
I wish there were more strict continuity between the Godzilla films, just in general, because you have a lot of the same actors playing essentially the same characters, but they're not the same characters. And this is supposed to be a direct sequel to Mechagodzilla, but it's not quite. Like, it doesn't quite line up. I don't know. I just it's frustrating, but I guess who cares?
Yes.
It's pretty close.
It is hilarious because that guy is the same guy. He just plays the same dude. But it's like,
well, hey, listen.
I have different
just sunglasses.
Like
Schwarzenegger and Terminator. It's like Schwarzenegger and Terminator.
That's okay. Yeah, I guess since they
disguise
aliens.
themselves as humans.
Right. Yeah.
So like they could be like, this is our model.
Right,
this is what our commanders are modeled as in Earth. There you go.
Give me them sunglasses.
You put more thought into it than the filmmakers did.
Probably, yes.
Toru Ibuke as Suda, black hole alien lieutenant. That was the guy with the really bad mustache. Maybe the really good mustache.
He also had sunglasses.
Yeah. Oh, yes. The alien. You knew who was an alien by who wore sunglasses all the time. Alien.
Yes.
It's like,
well, they flip-flopped.
Did they take that idea? It's like
they could have.
But this one is like they put sunglasses to see the aliens. Yeah, right?
But the Interpol agents had sunglasses in the last movie. Now they don't.
They switch them around. There we go.
See,
Kenji Sahara.
Make it extra confusing.
Yeah. Oh, these movies confuse the shit out of me, especially when it's my first time ever seeing them. I'm just like, what? Okay, got to rewind. What happened here? Kenji Sahara as General Sagawa. Toru Kawai is the suit actor for Godzilla. Kazunari Mori as Mechagodzilla 2. And Tatsumi Fayamoto as Titanosaurus. This movie was released March 15th, 1975. So almost a month to the, that would be 2 months to the day of Jaws. I just wanted to throw that out there. Hell yeah. It had a budget of $1.2 million and it made a little less than $20 million worldwide. It made 330 yen. Or 330 million yen, which I guess is a little less than 20 million. All right.
Which is, this was I think it's still the least financially successful Godzilla movie out of them all.
And that's why we didn't get Mechagodzilla back, right, until 93?
Well, that was a lot of
fun. Really, it's why we didn't get another Godzilla movie for almost 10 years.
Oh, right, because this was the last one until Return, right, in 84?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
it was between that and the oil crisis. Yep. It's just too much money to make those kind of movies. That wasn't a good return on investment. Oil shortage, no explosions, boom, boom, sad. So
interesting. Music was done by Akira Ifukube once again. And
yes, it was.
The Godzilla theme shows up. The Godzilla theme shows up, and I went, this movie's already great. Don't care. Stop not including the theme. I'm going to say that in every episode. When we talk about a movie, whether a Godzilla movie, where they don't have the theme, that's a markdown for me. I'm sorry. The movie could be great.
You just had
you don't put the theme in there, you get a markdown.
You just had bad luck, dude. Most of them have the theme. You
like
just
Return.
had bad luck on the one.
Like Return. Return didn't have the theme. Like, why? Stop. Check yourself in the mirror. Put the theme in every time. All right, that's it. That's all I got.
All right. So let's get into it. We're doing things a little bit different this time, all right? Parker decided he's like, hey, dude, listen, you son of a bitch. No, I'm just kidding.
It's exactly
so anyway,
how I
what we're
started
gonna
the
do
conversation.
we're gonna have more of a discussion about the film this time. I'm gonna give a synopsis real quick, the best way I fucking know how, and then we're just gonna talk about it. We're just gonna hit some various bullet points, what we think, what we liked, we didn't like, how was your drink during the movie, whatever, we'll figure it out. We'll roll with it, and we'll try not to keep you too long. So, rough synopsis of this movie literally picks up where the last one ended, with Christmas bells and metallic cornflakes going into the sea. Essentially, what it boils down to is Mechagodzilla gets blown up. They try to find him again. They can't find him again. The black hole aliens are back, but there's also this dinosaur, Titanosaurus, that's wrecking shit in the ocean that a scientist found and is using his daughter to control it. And this scientist joins the evil space aliens, and they rebuild Mechagodzilla, and they fucking tag team Godzilla. So they flip the script. There's no King Caesar because he's a bitch ass sleeping away, not doing shit because they're not in Okinawa.
Well, because they're also not singing to him. They got to sing his song. Like, he's not going to wake up unless they sing that sweet song.
No, the thing was you either get song or you get tits. They voted for tits, and that's just how it went. This was 1975. People wanted tits. So
okay,
they wanted them before then too.
So that's Godzilla shows up, has to fuck him up, stop the aliens from taking Earth because their fucking planet's about to get sucked into a black hole. Like, this is our last mission. We got to get Earth so we can save however many weird monkey face ripping aliens we got left. And
they're not monkeys in this one.
They're not monkeys in this one.
Planet of the Apes monkeys like in Mechagodzilla. Yeah.
Yep.
But that also, Dan, you're really not going to start off the plot synopsis by going, it has a previously on section where it literally just shows like a summary of the last one.
No, you don't pick up a book that's a sequel and in the synopsis it says, don't worry, at the beginning we cover what happened last time.
But
here's the rest of it.
You have to.
We'll talk about it when we do the discussion. This is a synopsis. So the movie starts with a flashback to the last movie. So there you go. But that's the movie.
It wouldn't be a latter era. It wouldn't be a latter era Showa era film without liberal use of stock footage.
And there actually wasn't as much as some other ones at the end of it. Kind of like Mechagodzilla. It had some, which you can note, but not as bad as like.
I guess this doesn't really count
I
guess it doesn't really count as reusing stock footage if it's a recap. So I can't really take off too many points for that.
During the final battle, though, they do reuse shots from the previous Mechagodzilla film. So they do.
Never been less shocked in my life.
I know. I was taken aback. Like, I've seen this movie 100 times. How did I not notice this?
Wow.
I questioned my existence. I tried to find my birth certificate to make sure my name matched. So anyway, let's talk about the movie. Just spit out whatever you got to say. But what did you guys... I want to start with the other... I don't think most people don't start with. What did you not like about this movie?
The fact that the one guy falls in love with the girl that he knew for 10 seconds. I hate that.
Fair, yes.
They knew each other for 3 seconds, and it was literally, they had like 2-minute conversations 3 times. And then at the end, he's like, don't worry, I love you no matter what. And I was like, why? Why do you love her?
Star-crossed lovers.
Oops.
Well, she kind of had the sweaty clamp for him too.
Ew. She always looked like she was lost, or she was like always in an awkward situation. Like, I understand she becomes like a cyborg at the end to a degree, but she's always like
cyborg.
She's always like she always looks suspicious. Like, clearly she is hiding things because her dad is now the evil villain, twirling his really bad gray mustache, and
his droopy mustache. Yeah,
I think it gets lower as the film progresses. It's like in his mouth at the end. No, honey.
I said he just looks like Colonel Sanders.
It's awful.
How can you make him look like he doesn't take care of himself? I was like, well, let's just like shave this gray cat and put it on his head and face.
It's not the only Godzilla movie we've talked about where like a character, they age up a character who clearly isn't that age, and it's just like the worst makeup or like wig and beard concoction they could put on this person. And I was like, what what's going on here? Like the
What?
priest, was it the Shinto priest or the priest from Mechagodzilla?
Yeah,
That
the
dude
Okinawan
definitely was
priest.
not an older man. That man was like in his 30s, and they threw on this like really bad long beard, and this clearly it's a wig. It was like, oof, they're not even being subtle here. But this one is worse. The one in this one with the doctor is worse. That mustache, wow.
Do you think he should talk like the elephant? Like, I feel like he should just have the same voice actor as the elephant from the original Jungle Book. Discipline is a thing. And like, that's just I thought about like the whole time I was watching it. Damn it.
Oh man. Yeah, that's probably my biggest complaint with this movie, because it is
Outside of
fun.
just
This
the force
movie's
of love.
just it wasn't as bad as a lot of the American monster movies we've talked about on this show, where it's legit. And I've said it 1,000 times, and people were listening to the shows like, shut up. We know. But big monster destroying city or destroying world. Guy asks girl out to dinner. Guy pins a girl up against a table. He's only known for 5 seconds. That's weird.
Well, they were talking
What
about
movie are we
octopus.
talking about specifically?
Oh, Dan, what was it? It was the one with the octopus.
It came from beneath the sea.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
This guy
Well, I
legit
don't know.
pins this girl into a corner and gets within inches of her face. Not in a relationship with this girl either, but asks her out to dinner while this octopus squid thing is destroying San Francisco.
Cool.
Yep. American
Good for
mo-
him.
What about you?
American
Lloyd?
monster
Do you have
movies.
any Oh, I love them too. But do you have any like hard, just like this is just shit? What this is something you don't like about this movie?
Titanosaurus's roar is really goddamn annoying. I feel like if it were slightly less annoying, the movie would rank higher for me. But you're hearing it the entire time, over and over.
When he shows up, I legit looked at my wife is like sitting not watching the movie. She might be she's paying attention to the movie. But this thing shows up. I did not know this was in the movie. I looked at her and went, what the fuck is that thing? I didn't even know this was part of Godzilla lore. Like, who are you?
Most other people don't realize it is either.
I didn't know.
My favorite part is after the first time he does his little like tail butt wiggle,
Oh yeah.
right? And he turns around and does his little punch, and he sounds like a horse.
He's always ready to fight. The greatest thing is when he activates that tail whip, and you have to it's like cocking a gun, where it's like his tail goes out and there's like, and it pops up that little sail thing. Then he wiggles it, and then when he's done, it's like, and then he spins around. He's like, ah.
So fucking jazz, dude. It's awesome. I wish there were more space monkeys. That was my big disappointment.
No ape form.
No, this is like
None.
gooey face form. Like one guy gets his face
Yeah.
ripped off, and it's just like gooey underneath. Like they just threw
Well,
on
they
some
say something.
KY jelly there. It's like they didn't even
They say-
strategically put it on his face. They just good enough.
There is a line in the movie where they say something about getting back their original forms, and they don't ever explain that. It's just an
No.
actual line in the movie. I'm just like, to what extent? Like, are you not monkeys anymore? Are you devolving? Are you the goop? I don't know.
Mhm.
It's like body melt or something.
Yeah.
So nobody. What about you? Do you have anything bad to say
I agree with Parker. You know, my
about Titanosaurus?
no, not
Oh,
about
God,
Titanosaurus.
please don't.
What
I didn't say anything
Really?
negative about Titanosaurus. I was just
I
one of those
love
what the
Titanosaurus.
fuck moments.
No, that was Loy. Sorry.
No. With the taking him to dinner, you know how I feel about that.
Yes, yeah, that's fair.
There was no egregious like doing that, like taking her out to dinner or anything, but it was weird because you know he had only known her for like just moments. Like he goes to the house to look for her father, who they don't even know it's her father until she literally is like, yeah, he's been dead.
Yeah.
My father's been dead for, I can't remember. They say like 2 years,
5 years?
or something like that. Yeah, it's been a while. It's like no one knew. But it was the end when he's like cradling her, or like anytime something would happen and he would just run away because he's like, I gotta save her. Like I believe everything she says or does. I'm not going to believe my friends and my partner who I've known for years and years. I'm going to believe this woman I've known for literally less than 24 hours.
He doesn't even care that she's a cyborg.
No, he says that. He's like, I don't care that if you're a cyborg, I love you. And I went,
I still love you.
Wait, what?
And the audience sheds a tear.
Yeah.
I just like they like his buddy, like Murakoshi pulls him aside. He's like, listen, dude, 2 words. Red flags. Stop. Like, but he didn't listen.
He's just looking out for his college buddy.
Yeah, that's all he was doing.
I do like the character of Ichinose. He's very sweet natured, and I like that character. That's the thing about this movie in particular. There seems to be more of a serious attempt to have humans factor into the plot and have their actions impact the story, which is more than I can say for a lot of Godzilla movies. But the characters still feel kind of thin. I mean, maybe with the exception of Dr. Mifune, who we can get to maybe later on. I still feel like they quite haven't nailed, the 3-dimensional human characters. They try, but
well,
I think they've reverted back to that with these legendary ones, where you're just like, monster fighting is cool. Human characters, I don't care. I just don't care about any of the human characters in the legendary films anymore.
I mean, yeah, I mean the new Empire. That's a Saturday morning cartoon show.
Yes,
and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, because I loved the shit out of the new Empire, but those characters are wafer thin.
Which is interesting because who's the podcaster in those movies? Does anybody remember?
Brian Tyree Henry.
Yeah, I can't remember what his character's name was, but
yeah, but it's interesting because that's the movies I know him from. Is versus Kong and
I first saw him in Atlanta, which is a show from Donald Glover.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, it's a great show, and that's where I discovered him, because I think that was like one of his big breaks, and then he's in everything. He was in the Child's Play remake. That's not really the most famous or big thing he's been in, but yeah, he's huge now.
He gives a fantastic dramatic performance in If Beale Street Could Talk, the Barry Jenkins film. And so you see him in that, and then you see him playing this utter clown in the Godzilla films. Although he did voice Megatron in the recent Transformers 1, and he was amazing.
I was just about to say that.
I've heard great things about that movie. I
had the time of my life in the theater watching that film.
No one saw it,
completely. Well, that's the thing. They finally make a good Transformers movie, and no one sees it. After how many shit Transformers movies? It's very depressing.
Yeah, they finally.
I kind of like Bumblebee.
They finally went, hey guys, look, Michael Bay's name isn't anywhere near this movie.
He did produce it.
Oh, okay.
Fucked. He's just like, any Transformers movie, I want to be there. Stick me on it.
You can't escape Michael Bay.
Before we get too far from this, and admittedly, in Godzilla, in New Empire, I was just waiting for some like bearded white man to show up, be like, "This looks like trouble. I better call Godzilla," and pushes a little pager on his belt, and Godzilla just rises out of the ocean, voiced by Frank Welker.
Yes.
Oh, yes, that's who I definitely.
I mean, we're basically already there.
Yeah.
But let's. Loy Sauce was onto it because he was talking about this being probably one of the best, I would say, as attempts at a human story outside of the original. Because even then, you say questionable, but I thought they did a really good job in that one too. But what's good stuff? What's things you enjoyed? Anybody enjoyed about this film?
I really enjoyed like the whole. I did enjoy like the whole alien story with them like rebuilding Mechagodzilla, and then I saw the patch on the side of Mechagodzilla, and I went, Dan has that tattooed on him.
Yeah. Mechagodzilla 2, which is not to be confused with Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2.
Yeah.
Which is not to be confused with Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, which is not to be confused with Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
Why did they call that one Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 3? We don't want to confuse Americans now. We can't call 93's Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla and just put like 93 after it whenever you look it up.
Wait, I thought that one was.
Well,
I thought that one was Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2. Wasn't that the one that came out in '93?
But that's not Mechagodzilla 2. This is Mechagodzilla 2.
Okay.
But why would you call it that? There's no precedent.
Because they called this one Terror of Mechagodzilla. They should have called this one Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2. It would have made sense.
That would have made sense.
But here's the thing.
I don't know.
This was another Godzilla movie that didn't have Godzilla in the title. Well, it did, I guess.
Yep.
Godzilla is in the name Mechagodzilla. It doesn't count. Godzilla is not in this movie for very long. Like, he is in this movie for a split second, like towards the beginning of the movie. No, like, he's not in this movie for very long.
No, he shows up toward the end.
He shows up at the end for the fight, and that was about it.
Takes about an hour for him to show up. I just envision a small child in the theater tugging on his mom's sleeve and saying, "Mommy, where's Godzilla?"
She's like, "Shut up! You got your red dinosaur. Now be quiet."
It's like,
you have your aquatic Godzilla.
Yeah.
Who makes a weird bird sound when it squeaks. Sounds like a squeak away.
More like.
Oh yeah, that's what
beginning.
That's what my wife said when she first heard it. She's like, that sounds like an elephant. I'm like, well, 100% it's an elephant. They definitely just recorded it at a zoo.
Yes.
Yep. There we go. We got our sound, guys.
Gamera, some of Gamera's roars are just like a tire squealing, like sped up and slowed down, like dead serious.
No, that's really cool. I mean, that's just how Foley work is done.
Yeah, I know.
With stuff like that. But this one is legit just, hey, I recorded 4 elephants trumpeting. All right, that's what we're using, guys. Yep. We're not even going to like tweak the sound or anything. Nope. Just stop it and start it periodically. All right,
it's tweaked. It's tweaked. Don't exaggerate it. A little.
Sure.
Somebody turn a dial a quarter.
Yeah. They turn the pitch up and down a little bit here and there.
Who the fuck's the sound designer here?
Yeah. Also, Mechagodzilla's not in this movie much either. You see him.
He doesn't
do anything for a long time until probably about 20 minutes before the end when they actually release him and he goes to fight. And a lot of times, I love like the panning shots where they're like going around the monsters. And Mechagodzilla, there's times where Mechagodzilla's just chilling in the background, like, you got this dinosaur, man. Go get him. He just stands there. He's like, I don't want to do anything.
I mean, if he's like, well, it kind of fits the motif of what the aliens want. They're like, just let Titanosaurus get, fight Godzilla, get weakened, and let Mechagodzilla fucking kill him off.
Yeah. My favorite.
There's a really, you can just like stand. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Boy. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say there's a really amazing shot of when Titanosaurus and Mechagodzilla are heading into battle together, and Mechagodzilla is flying behind Titanosaurus. You know exactly what shot I'm talking about.
Yes.
So good. So good.
There's a lot of good shots in this movie I liked.
That's Honda, I think. Again, I feel like, and I'm not saying that there aren't impressive visuals in the other Showa era films, but I think on the whole, this is like a classier affair. Would you say? After kind of the more cartoony efforts by Jun Fukuda and the psychedelic, experimental, whatever Yoshimitsu Banno was doing with Godzilla versus Hedorah. I mean, there's amazing stuff in that movie too. But I feel like this one, there, as I said before, there was more of an attempt made to make this more in line with the original. I guess to kind of like put a cap on the series, because I think at this point they wanted to put Godzilla on moratorium. So
yeah, 100%. Well, I mean, that was just the thing, like we've mentioned, not just like we did earlier, but we've talked about in other shows, like Toku shows. It's just, they were just falling out of favor. They were getting too expensive to produce. And I mean, outside of like certain key shows, like television shows that kept going, it just wasn't the thing. I mean, hell, even Ultraman stopped after Leo. They stopped till 1980, 79. So they took a long hiatus too. It just wasn't the thing to do.
But that's not to say, even though the film does have a decidedly more somber tone, that's not to say that you don't get like absolutely ridiculous monster action in this movie.
Oh my god, the fights are so fucking good in this movie, dude.
My favorite are the kicks. So like when one of the monsters is laying down and the other one kicks one, and they fly for about 3 miles and then land on the other side of a mountain. Yeah, and it's like, all right, now I gotta walk back to you so I can fight again. And then it happens to the other monster. I think Mechagodzilla is the only one who doesn't get kicked. Like
he gets thrown.
He gets thrown, and then of course he gets his head ripped off because that is how Mechagodzilla is supposed to go out. But then you're like, oh shit, he's got another phase to him.
Yep. Phase 2.
Wait, there's
you
more.
ready for round 2? Lasers.
Oh, this isn't my final form.
Yeah, this isn't even my final form. Anyway,
would you all say, I could be wrong, would you say that this is the most explodey film of the Showa era? There are so many explosions in this movie.
Yes, I agree. The end of Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla is insane. There is one scene where I don't even think you see the monsters. It's just showing Mechagodzilla just bombarding.
Decimate. Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm just sitting there with my hands on my head going, holy crap, it's never ending. It's just explosions.
Yep.
I don't know. This one had a lot of explosions, but I don't know if it beat the first Mechagodzilla. Like, that one was, wow. It just didn't end for a good 5 minutes straight. It just kept bouncing back and forth between Mechagodzilla and Godzilla.
Yeah.
There's also the possibility, like Dan said, that some of the explosions were
just
could have been reused from Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
Well, the where he's doing the all-out barrage, or whatever they call it, that was some of those scenes you could just directly
because they could zoom in on his hands. Because when they would do a wider shot where you could see more of Mechagodzilla, I think they made sure not to do like old shots because he has the MG2 patch on his arm, and I think people would have been like, "Oh, where is it now? Like, it's gone."
Yeah. If people really pay attention, this is not the same suit. It's based on a similar suit because the design is different. If you see the metal patterns and some of the riveting, his chest compartment, it's different. Not just the MG2. Of course, his hands are different. He's got his new missiles, the new revolving missiles, as he says in the dub. It's like, anyways, it just blows up that whole fucking city block. Oh, what about when he uses the eye lasers in all the cities? I'm like in the city, and just
that's a great shot because they have him staged behind buildings. Like he's like in the right corner of the screen, and he's behind buildings, so you don't even see like his full figure, and he's just literally taking out all the buildings on the left side. It's a great shot.
Oh yeah, I like this. A lot of those panning, and Lloyd talked about them, like when they do like the rotational, like they like go around them.
Oh yeah,
like,
lots of low angle shots too, looking up at the monsters.
Like
that's really effective.
Like Titanosaurus, like the first couple times he comes out of the water, you get that really nice low angle shot on him. It looks good.
Or like when a foot comes down. Yeah. poor Bulldog, the guy from the first Mechagodzilla, the one I said something because he had that strong jaw. He kind of looks like a bulldog. Well, he was on that sub, and I was like, "Hey, it's that guy from the last one," and then he dies. He's just
different actor, different character.
No, I was gonna say that's definitely not the different actor. That's the same guy. That jaw was there. Wait, was it different?
Dude,
was a different character too on that guy too?
It's a different character. Yeah.
Oh, I guess I shouldn't. I mean, it is sad he died like in the movie, but I was more sad because I thought it was the same dude from the last one. I was like, no. I just connected with you for an entire movie and now you're gone. But now that I know it's not the same guy, yeah, whatever.
It's all right. So it's just, I love that opening shot because Titanosaurus comes up. He does this little roar. Blah, blah, blah. It's like elephanty horse thing. And then he like hugs the sub, like dives on it. And it just shows him like hugging it in the whirlpool. I'm like, hug it down, motherfucker. And just crushes it. So good. Yeah. But you get, I agree. Godzilla.
I love within the first. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying Godzilla. Yes, we're gonna do it, Lloyd. Go ahead, sir. You go ahead.
I was just going to say that we see monster within the first 10 minutes.
Yeah,
I mean, little glimpses here and there, and then you see him, Titanosaurus with his floppy ass neck, and it's exciting. It's exciting. You don't have to wait that long to see a monster. You do have to wait a long time to see Godzilla, though.
Yes, you do.
He shows up in the middle when Titanosaurus gets turned loose there for a little bit. When fucking oh my god, I just blanked his name. Bufune. He's like, fuck those space monkeys. I'll show them what Titanosaurus can do. And he goes out and starts wrecking shit and gets his daughter shot. And then Godzilla shows up. Godzilla's like, oh, I'll fuck you up, bitch. And then he's like, I'm just gonna leave.
I will say that I think it may have been more effective had we not seen Titanosaurus right away, because there is that scene where they're playing back the recording of the sub, and if we didn't know like what Titanosaurus looked like, or we didn't have an idea, we can kind of picture it in our mind's eye based on, what is, you hear the guy over the recording being like, it's a huge dinosaur. And so I don't know. The fact that we already know what Titanosaurus looks like kind of makes that impact a little bit less, I think. But
so they could have filmed it like starting.
We're nitpicking now.
Yeah, but like maybe start with like Ichinose like going into the office and like, here's this tape, and then you could like cut back to it later or whatever.
Yeah,
like
perfect.
that way to give like some anticipation or whatever.
Exactly.
I dig it. But that being said, so we. Oh, yeah, think so?
My-
I'm sorry.
my-
Go ahead.
what I liked.
Go. I
No.
forgot you have
Go
something
for
to
it.
say. It's important. No, please. She's some very relevant stuff to talk about.
No, it's not really relevant.
No, it's awesome. I'm sure. I gotta.
Sarcastic.
I'm not being
No.
sarcastic. I would think she does.
No,
Mhm.
I love when I don't remember who he's hitting, but it's when Titanosaurus is punching and his head is going like this.
What about what he like?
And he gets so excited. Yeah, that was cool. But I also love when he jumps off the cliff or over the hill and he's just kind of going sideways.
He's like,
goes,
that's the
"Yeah."
actor just not
He's just
trying to
like-
balance himself. Whoa.
Yeah. He just jumps and goes.
My favorite is when Titanosaurus, there's a part where he just launches in the air and his limbs are just like completely limp, and he like just dives into some planes that just explode.
Yes.
That's nuts. That is
Like,
nuts.
I'm not gonna shoot a breath weapon. I'm just gonna jump. He's like Stewart from Mad TV. Look what I can do.
Yes.
It just jumps.
Yes.
yes. Oh God. You had one other thing I thought.
Oh, when Godzilla gets set on fire.
Yes, we did talk about.
Yeah.
Set on fire, which was actually a fuck up. Was not supposed to happen.
Oh, that you 100% can tell that was a fuck up. Holy shit. I was like, yo, Godzilla is in flames. Like his whole back is up in flames. I've never seen that before. That's wild. Yeah, you could definitely tell it was a mess up, but great. Oh, go ahead.
Mad respect for the suit actors. I mean, not just
my
in
goodness.
that particular instance, but across all kaiju media. Like,
Yes.
God bless the people who were in those like 300-pound, like death traps, basically, with explosions all around them. They can't breathe. They can't see. Just they're the real heroes of these.
They almost
productions.
drowned.
Or we're getting
Exactly.
electrocuted.
Yeah, electrocuted.
I mean, just watching like the explosions, like when missiles and stuff are being shot at Godzilla or even, any one of these monsters, and you're like, that's gotta suck so bad. Like just having them put whatever they were using to kind of, imitate those explosions. And these dudes are just in these suits dying. They're sweating their asses off because it's not like they're AC'd. Bravo for the things that these guys could do in these suits. Like you were saying, they're like 300 pounds and they're able to do high kicks and flail around their arms and run. And like Godzilla runs in this one, which is great. Especially whoever the suit actor for Titanosaurus, Tatsumi Fayamoto, the fact that his head was probably the lower neck of the suit and trying to act with that thing just flopping around.
Dude, I just remember what, because you're talking about people being on fire, and there's actually a scene in it where the planes were coming in, and Titanosaurus' suit is on fire. There's parts of it are on fire. Godzilla just knocks him over. It's like, don't worry, he's just trying to put out the flames.
Yeah.
Like knocks him to the ground.
Yeah, he's knocking him into the dirt. Dirt's great for fire.
Yeah, exactly. Stop, drop, and roll, motherfucker. Woo!
All right, let's talk about the fact that there is nudity in this movie.
Yes,
it's a G. There's a G. It's a G-rated movie, and it had boobs. And I was like, oh, I mean, you could clearly tell they were fake. They were just, rubber like dummy ones. But it was just shocking. I was like, oh, okay. It's during a surgery scene after the scientist's daughter, or the evil doctor's daughter, gets shot, and she is being turned into a cyborg, and I love it. It literally looks like...
Is she a cyborg already? Because they have that flashback of her.
It's like more of a cyborg.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm guessing that. So, and the dad just never knew.
Okay. I love that prosthetic because not only because of the boobs, but because of you see all the wiring and the machinery, and then you see kind of like the beating heart prop.
Yeah.
That's some really solid practical prosthetic effects there.
Yeah, especially for 1975. But when I saw this scene, all I could think of was the Matthew Broderick Inspector Gadget movie when they're like putting them together.
I'm like, that?
No. I mean, you don't see any, but there is like whatever. That's a kid. No, there isn't.
This is a kid's show.
But there is the
Could you call Matthew Broderick a boob?
Yes,
I mean, I feel most people would, based on his history.
Anyway.
But yeah, it just reminded me of that, like when they're putting Inspector Gadget together after he gets in his accident, and I was just going, this kind of looks like that. But this is 1975, so like it's more impressive here than it is in that 1999 movie of just whatever that movie was. Yeah, I to be honest, the human characters, as I've stated before, the human characters in these monster movies, just most of the time I just don't care about what's going on with them. This one was way more interesting than probably the last couple we've talked about. Like Return of Godzilla the human characters I could have cared less about. Even the first Mechagodzilla, I wasn't totally invested in the humans. I was more invested in like the aliens and the fact that they turned into Planet of the Apes characters when they died. That was like, holy shit. Like it was one of those holy shit moments. This one, I liked the whole, you have the doctor who is, discovers this dinosaur and is shunned by his community because no one believes him. And then he has a daughter who...
He's not just shunned. He's physically assaulted.
Yeah.
By his community.
He's literally on the ground, like face first into the ground, just like, no, there's no such things as dinosaurs.
This is exactly what happens in peer review, guys. Just so you know, science is a rough place.
Yeah, to your point, I think this is one of the more complex group of characters in terms of their motivations, because you have Dr. Mifune, who he's using the aliens' technology and resources to further his own agenda. Mm-hmm. And then you have the aliens who are using Dr. Mifune to their own diabolical ends because, their planet's dying and they're trying to mine Earth for colonize basically.
Yeah.
And take over. So, I really do think that there's a lot of interesting stuff going on, especially with the doctor and the daughter, and there's the whole backstory of the tragedy of their, the mother dying, and I don't know, there's just kind of a lot going on there, and I do wish that it were expounded upon to make it like really compelling, so that like at the end we're really gripped by what's happening, as opposed to wanting there to be more, or left wanting. But they really did try. They really did try, and I think that deserves kudos.
Well, even the aliens, they made the aliens even like shittier. Not even just like the mustache tour, like ha ha ha, we're bad guys. Like, but like how they would capture humans and like they would fuck up their neck, like certain like their larynx or whatever, so their vocal box, so they couldn't speak.
Which is hardcore, by the way.
Yeah, I know exactly, and like just this in the escalation of violence, like how like they were just waiting they apparently were eyeballing Mifune because they were just waiting for something to happen. I'm assuming they probably rigged that failure for equipment so his daughter would get electrocuted or severely hurt, so they could step in, like, "Hey, motherfucker, we're going to use you as a contingency."
Basically,
And
using Katsura as blackmail,
yeah,
and the whole dynamic of Dr. Mifune like sheltering her.
yes,
That adds dimension to those
Mhm.
characters. So yeah, I mean, it's not it's not the best this genre has seen, but it's certainly not the worst.
For this era, it's definitely far above average.
Well, and then tying in the whole theme of again trying to kind of keep it in line with the original intent of Godzilla, because Dr. Mifune's whole deal is the arrogance of mankind, the dangers of meddling with nature, because he wants to control Titanosaurus, and that leads to hijinks and disaster and tragedy. So I think they were going for something with a little bit more depth and a little bit more thematically in tune with what Godzilla was meant to represent in the first place.
Yeah, I would agree with you 100%, especially with Ishiro Honda coming back, and we talked about in Ghidorah when we covered that. Is that going to be out yet when this video drops?
No, Ghidorah will be the Friday after this one drops. So it'll be this.
We talk
this
about
Friday.
it in Ghidorah. There you go.
Stay tuned.
It's spelled out
Yes.
in that one.
Yes. I just found a picture though. It's literally a picture of all of the suit actors in like the Mechagodzilla, the Titanosaurus, and Godzilla suits. There was a Shinto priest that did a purification ceremony prior to them filming. I'm guessing this was a common occurrence before filming any of these movies. But the picture is great because it's like this really like intense ceremony, and it's just the three monsters standing next to each other, and then this woman just standing in between them as they're doing this thing. It's really cool.
Serious business. Hey, on that note, or vaguely on that note, the Mechagodzilla 2 costume is the only surviving original series costume.
Really?
Wow, that I did not know.
Yeah, you can actually go see it in a museum. It's the only one that made
Is
it
it
through.
is it in Japan?
Yes, sir. It's my goal to go see. I'm gonna get kicked out like Patrick. Touch. Stop! Don't touch. Touch.
I
Do I
bet
gotta
you
follow you around all day?
I bet you it's behind glass, Dan.
I'll fucking break that shit and I'll haul ass to the embassy. Like,
You're gonna
sons
be
of
in the
bitches, you
suit.
can't-
You're just gonna be in the suit.
I'm just gonna touch it. No, I ain't got the physique for that, dude. I'll just like 2 steps. Like, it's too heavy.
I'm gonna come back alone with the kids because Dan's gonna be in jail over there.
Just like keep sending postcards home. It was worth it. It was worth it. It was worth it.
So, fun fact that I read about this movie is that this was the original screenplay for this movie was a contest winner from Yukiko Takayama. Toho would do like a story contest for their like next installment for the Godzilla series, and this one won. I guess pretty much everything that was in that original screenplay made it to film, but I guess there was some things they had to cut for budgetary reasons, and then I guess the end was different. I guess I think it was the final battle was supposed to be like in Tokyo, like they were supposed to like level Tokyo, and that was where the final battle was. Instead of they put it in like the freaking meadow or whatever.
It was there for a little bit, then they moved out of town.
Yeah, Mechagodzilla
battle
levels
really
it and then just left.
Well, there was also supposed to be 2 monsters that fused together to make Titanosaurus.
Whoa!
And the writer of this actually went on to make a sequel series, a sequel short story that took place like 100 years after it had Mecha Titanosaurus in it, and there's the suit. She's got a picture of the suit in the museum. Anyway, it has it ended up being like she was gonna go under a different name, but she was like revived 100 years in the future or something. I've heard of it. I've seen like pictures like from the book or whatever, but I've never read it. I don't know anything. I don't know much about it outside of that.
And then the only other thing was that the English version of this movie came out 3 years later. So it came out in 1978.
So 78.
Yep.
There was always usually a little bit of a delay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This wasn't even like the longest delay. Which I can't remember which one we talked about where it was like it didn't get released in the US until like the early 2000s, and it might have been Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
No,
No,
that came out when we were
maybe it was Ghidorah. Maybe it was Ghidorah.
No, that got released in other countries, but Ghidorah was around back in the day.
There was
too.
one
My
we
dad
talked
watched
about
it.
where it was like it was like a 20-year gap between when it was released in Japan and when it came to the States. So
A lot of the Heisei era films, there was those just didn't get a release until the advent of like DVD.
Well, it would have been I know one we talked about. The original Japanese version of The Return of Godzilla was one. We didn't get a Japanese version of
that's
that
right.
until
Right.
2000s.
Well, yeah,
2000 actually, it wasn't until the Blu-ray hit. We didn't get an actual like official Japanese release. It was like the 2010s that we got that. So, but yeah, before we, I guess, go any more, does anybody have any more closing comments, anything they want to say about the movie? What we think about the movie? Like, do you have like how you felt about it? We'll get Mr. Loy Sauce. I'll let you go first, sir.
Yeah, I mean it has its rough patches for sure. There's a part where I don't know if this was added later or what, but there's a scene where Godzilla has to save the kids, and that scene looks real janky. That whole thing is just really clunkily, like awkwardly inserted into the film. And we've talked about some of the other aspects about the film that doesn't work, but that don't work rather. I do think there is, like I said before, there was a concerted effort to make this a little bit more, even though it has some ridiculous stuff like Titanosaurus grabbing Godzilla by his mouth and like flopping him all around. You still have like remnants of the Jun Fukuda era of just insane cartoonish monster fights. But then you also have the scene at the end with Mifune like tearfully asking his daughter to forgive him while he's dying. And so like that it kind of creates like a clash of tone. But I think it works. And I think that's down to the direction by Ishiro Honda. I think it's down to the screenplay by Yukiko Takayama. Smart choices were made here. And great care was taken, I think, in how the characters especially the monsters are depicted. There's a fabulous shot of Godzilla's first entrance. Spectacular shot where he's in shadow, the camera zooms in, the lighting changes really dramatically. And then shortly after that, he like smashes his fist into his palm, like, I'm about to beat this motherfucker's ass. Like, that's the Godzilla. That's the Godzilla that we all love. And then there's a little bit of melancholy to it too, where I imagine when they were making it, they knew that it was going to be the last one, at least for a period of time. But it's Ishiro Honda's last film, so there is a bit of melancholy to it, and there is that shot at the end with Godzilla kind of heading back into the ocean at sunset, and the camera's pulling back, and you have that just iconic Ifukube music. So, I think it does a good job of putting a nice little bow on the Showa era.
No, Parker.
Yeah, I mean, as I say before, I had a lot of fun with this one. I'm trying to think of whether or not I like this one more than Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, because I think I like the monster fight a little bit more in this one, and I like the human characters more. I do love that final shot though, because that is the shot, like, I feel if you are, of course, like very young and you grew up with the legendary films, this is how every Godzilla movie ends, where he just wanders back into the ocean after he's done. He's like, I defeated him. See you later. Going home. And to be honest, I think this is the first Godzilla movie we've covered this month where that is how the movie ends, where he just like wanders back into the water. Because usually I think the last one, Mechagodzilla versus Godzilla, or other way around, he gets blown into the water. Like when Mechagodzilla gets destroyed and he blows up, it blows Godzilla into the water, and then you don't see him again. I do love him holding Mechagodzilla's head after he rips it off. He's just like holding it like a football. And then he's confused because the thing is still working. And you're like,
That's a really nice twist.
Yes.
Especially
yes.
from, if you've seen the last one.
Yeah,
Yes.
it brings the continuity together, because then you would think in theory, like, hey, I've done this before. I can do it again.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I like that Godzilla doesn't constantly do his small roar every time he opens his mouth like some other Godzilla movies, which is just like, I love his roar, but I don't need to hear it every time he opens his mouth, where it's like, and I was like, okay, man. You just get like one longer one as he's fighting, and it happens periodically. It's great. I love it. This movie is a lot of fun, though. I've been having a blast diving into these for the first time, and I can't wait to dive back into them again and kind of just sit back and enjoy them and not have to worry about talking about them on a podcast.
I'm sorry.
No, because who would want to do that?
That's not how I meant to come out, but I really want to go through all these movies again and just kind of as just a spectator and just sit there and just enjoy them for what they are. And but this was a lot of fun.
Criterion usually does a 50% off sale.
I know. It's just one of those things.
I know.
Do I gotta get gifts for my kids for Christmas, or do I buy $100 freaking box set? I don't know. It's a tough choice.
You buy the box set.
You buy the box set.
I mean, you gotta think it is.
I know. That's what my brain keeps telling me.
It is 15 movies. So you got to kind of break it down. Like per
I
movie.
know. I do want
that to justify it to yourself.
Yeah, I do
That's
want
what
that
I have to
4K.
do every time I blow money on Godzilla crap.
Yes,
that's every time I get any type of movie in the mail. My wife just laughs at me. Like today, I literally took out a Blu-ray of these 2 Godzilla movies. One of them, no one has anything nice to say about, but it came with the double pack, so I had to get it.
Which film is this?
Tokyo SOS.
Oh yeah.
I got it because it's the only way I could get Final Wars.
Right.
But at least I have it. I'm gonna check it out too.
Regrettable. I mean, there's some of the most amazing Godzilla action in that film, like the effects and the miniatures, and I mean that there's really impressive stuff in that movie on a technical level, but on an everything else level, oh boy.
The way they handled the Mechagodzilla in those 2 films, I'm not gonna say anything. It's the worst execution of that. It was a good idea on paper, and then they did it. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? But anyway, I have problems with those 2 movies. Wife,
you'll be okay.
I will one day.
You're welcome for picking it too.
Which one? No, not GM. No. I'm talking about Godzilla X Mechagodzilla and Tokyo SOS. Like that's a whole different kind of like, what the fuck is wrong with you kind of thing. Not just Don from his mustache. It's just an amazing
feelings already.
What's that?
It's okay. I know your feelings on Final Wars.
I know.
That's why I picked it.
Go ahead. Just go ahead.
I like this movie. Every time we watch it, I like it. I just hate that Mechagodzilla can't shoot snot rockets. He needs to shoot. He's got places on his nose. I mean, he shoots everything out of other orifices.
Pretty much, yeah.
I'm surprised they haven't made one where he shoots like a fucking dick one. Like it just like comes out of his crotch area, just like it's like a minigun or something.
Well, I wasn't the one that said it.
He's got room,
Reminds me of Mazinger.
Seems like a missed opportunity.
I remember. It reminds me of Mazinger, one of the robots. Mazinger is a super robot anime. For those of you that don't know, and they made like a female counterpart. I can't remember that robot's name, and she has boob missiles.
I mean,
nice.
No joke.
I mean, you had the boob guns in Austin Powers. I mean, it's right there.
Kid show.
Okay.
Like this one with the tits.
Yeah. I mean, really, we have to. Ridley was watching.
I guess this is I guess from what I've read, it's not the only Godzilla movie that has nudity in it. I guess Godzilla versus Space Godzilla from '94 has it.
It's true. It's got some man cheek, but the original Godzilla has cultural nudity. I guess it's tribes where the ladies.
I never count. I don't count that.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's not whatever. And then Megalon, which is like one of the most kid-friendly Godzilla movies ever. There is a box truck, and in the back is just fucking pornography on the back window, and like nobody missed it. It's like 2 shots.
Yeah,
just
I mean,
there.
it's right behind their
I never
head.
noticed it as a kid. Believe me, I was more worried about what's going on with the kaiju. But like as an adult, I'm like, those are
That's why they did it. That's why they didn't care. Like, no one's going to notice this. None of the kids that are
Yep.
watching this are going to notice this. It's just going to be the adults.
And the parents are going to be
And
like,
half the time, the adults aren't going to care.
yeah.
It's like the adult jokes that get told in kids' movies. You
Oh,
don't
yeah.
you don't realize
It's
what
for the
it's
parents.
until you're an adult. Rewatch
Yeah.
it with your kids, and you're like, "Ooh, maybe."
Most
Sorry,
Disney
I
animated
love you.
movies, when you're watching them now, you're like,
Yes.
holy crap.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
No, I don't have much more to say after that. I mean, I like this movie, so.
This
One
is
more
of those
thing I will
films-
say.
Oh, go,
Oh,
please,
sorry.
please. No,
I-
please go.
No, you please. No, this movie does have one of the greatest like lines of dialogue in cinematic history, which is when I think it's Mifune talking about Titanosaurus and Mechagodzilla teaming up. He says, "Their hatred will become one, unleashing an orgy of violence."
Fuck yes.
That's just poetry, pure poetry.
The best kind of poetry.
You gotta
I
love those
also love the fact how they
translations.
say like. I also love how they say Mifune hates his own species, and I'm like, same. I can relate.
Right? Fuck people. That's right.
Most of us can relate
I
to
feel
that.
that.
Yes.
All right, Dan, what's your final
Yes.
thoughts?
For me, this is one of those movies that I watch it and I love, like, I literally adore this. And every time I put it in, I'm like, why don't I watch this movie more? This will never be what the original Mechagodzilla is to me. We don't have any, like, I've seen the English dub to this, and there's a few things that I remember, like the way the guys, of course, the dubbing's shoddy, obviously, but the way he talks about Mechagodzilla's new weapon, revolving missiles, or like when they're talking about when they're building the weapon to defeat Titanosaurus, we'll make a supersonic laser, and he gets really excited with a parabolic lens, and I'm like, dude, relax. He doesn't even say it that way in the Japanese version. It's not that exciting. But
It's not that serious, bro.
no, but we don't have the great quotes like the original one. You don't have hand over the statue, or the old man and the girl will die. Like, with none of that shit. Like, but it's great. I think I love the characters. I love the darker shift in it. The fact that I've watched this movie a shit ton and it did not click for me that this was the return at this point to the franchise to Akira Ifukube. I am shamed as a Godzilla fan because it's got one of the best. There's a few of these, but one of the best examples of using his theme, and it's the part Loy talked about where Godzilla is shouted out right when he comes in. It's the Godzilla theme plays, but it feels intentionally slower than normal.
Yeah.
And it's fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And like just the fact that it's there and it's great. And like Parker said, I've seen these movies all a shit ton of times, but you miss it when you don't hear it enough and you watch them in like consecutive. Like, where's the theme? Where's the theme? There it is.
I mean, it's God's. It's synonymous with him. So like anytime I see him on screen, I don't need it like blasting in my face, but I need to have something playing. Like even if it's just subtly in the background of his theme playing. And I think that's what a lot of Godzilla, I mean, Return of Godzilla made the mistake of not using it. I think Godzilla 2014, bringing Godzilla back, and finally giving us an American Godzilla since 98 and not doing the theme at all. And then that's why we love Michael Dougherty, because he went, we're going to get Bear McCreary, and Bear McCreary is just going to fucking slap the shit out of us with the fucking Godzilla theme. He's like, you wanted it? Here it is. And I love the classics. Bear McCreary's Godzilla theme, and to be honest, that entire soundtrack is awesome.
Yes.
It's so good. But that's
and then you have Junkie XL, that hack, trying to plagiarize. Is that allowed? Can I say that? Plagiarize the Godzilla themes?
Yeah.
When did he do this? Which was this for?
Godzilla versus Kong and the New Empire, I think he did.
Did he really? Because they may have been there, but I did not notice any of them like in the background. But I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention. Like I knew McCreary wasn't in it, so I was like, fuck it.
Listen to the Godzilla theme on the soundtrack to Godzilla versus Kong. It's pretty shocking, the similarity. And I don't know if it was like a rights or copyright thing, like they couldn't get the Godzilla theme for whatever reason, but they try to do their own. And Junkie XL, it turns out was not up for the task.
Well,
He's composed some fine film scores, Mad Max, Fury Road, et cetera, Batman versus Superman, but man, his work on Godzilla is uninspired.
Well, I know that may have been him because I know they specifically said when the new movie was coming out, they weren't getting McCreary, and one of them said that they wanted to do their own thing. Like they didn't want to use the Godzilla theme, or because somebody said people would get tired of it. Like to what extent?
What are you talking about? Most audiences,
most audiences won't fucking know the theme. They remember it from like when they were kids, but like most people don't know the fucking theme. That's not getting tired of it.
I listen to Bear McCreary's Godzilla theme every goddamn day. It is in a playlist that it plays every day. That and the Serge Tankian's version of Godzilla that's also from that soundtrack that Bear McCreary also does the score for. They're so good because he doesn't just redo the Godzilla theme. Yes, it feels like the classic Godzilla theme, but he's like introducing like background chantings and like it feels so epic. And for that movie, it fits perfectly because it's the movie that literally is like throws every monster you could think of and just like throws it on screen, and it's just I love King of the Monsters. I don't care. People have problems with that movie and I can see them, but King of the Monsters fucking rules. When it comes to the Legendary series, that is my favorite. That is my favorite of the series. Other than the Kong Skull Island, that's my favorite of the Legendary films. But when it comes to the Godzilla ones, with King of the Monsters, it's just so great. The end of that movie is just like, fuck yeah. Like you're just sitting in the theater, like with your hands in the air, like, yes, melt them all. Oh God.
Yep.
We need to redo that episode.
I was there, bro.
That was our second ever episode of this show.
We could.
Our regular show.
But other than, I mean, I think I liked the hand of the aliens. Like I said, I wish they were more Monkey Man. I wanted some, Dr. Gory and Karis for those of you that get that cut. And I just like it. It's one I don't watch enough. And you guys, some of you all weren't fond of it, but I think Titanosaurus needs more representation. I like some of the. I don't think we get enough very kaiju anymore.
I just was shocked when I saw him because someone like knowing you guys for as long as I have, and
it was
and
the
you guys,
roar because if he shows up,
it wasn't the roar. It was just the fact that I was like, I never knew about this character. Like I was just genuinely shocked when I saw him. I was like, who is this? I'm like looking through my list, like, who the fuck are you? Like all the people I know, all the monsters I know from this series. It was just
it's not like this movie is called Godzilla versus Titanosaurus.
Yeah,
fair. There's several others we'll come across. You'll be like, what the fuck is this thing?
Listen, the American poster that I'm looking at right now, it's the Terror of Mechagodzilla. It literally has King Caesar on the poster. It doesn't even have Titanosaurus on the poster. And so you're going into it like, no, this is the American poster. This is the US poster.
No, I'm just telling you. You should look up the Japanese poster.
Oh no, I've said no, I mean that's the one I kind of have on the you guys can't see it, but YouTube will see it.
It's got like type ins.
Yeah. I got the Criterion. I put the Criterion one up because that one is dope.
But yeah, that's I like it. I think it's a movie I don't watch enough. I think more people should watch it. And I like the random salute they added to Mechagodzilla.
Oh, yeah.
You notice that? I was like, he did the thing. I love it. He does it twice. It's fucking wonderful. But yeah, I adore this. I love this movie for what it is, and I don't watch it enough. I think it was a great ending scene, like you said. It's that the scene of him going to the water with that the music is playing is just really good. And that's what I always remember because that was like the last Godzilla movie I watched as a kid. And then Godzilla Returns, Godzilla 85 came out, and like we didn't have access to anything in the Heisei era till like when the 98 Godzilla came out.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing came out in the States until after 98 Godzilla.
Yeah.
I remember going to my local video store and asking them, hey, order me Godzilla movies until I had them all. And then like, are there any more? And like, no. Until I walked in there one day and
it was a dark time.
I walked in one time and I looked on the shelf excuse me, and it was Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, and I was like, this isn't the one I've seen. So then that's when all the Heisei ones started coming out. So, anywho, sounds like generally everybody liked the film. I
Yeah.
hope we get to do more of these. I know this is kind of a rough, like a slightly different style, but I had fun just kind of talking about the movie. Just watch it. It's on. We talked about it's on Tubi. It's on
Max.
Yeah, let's go watch it.
All
It's
the
great.
Japanese versions of not all the of Godzilla. All the Godzilla movies are on Max. I think mostly just the Showa. I think some of the Heisei, because there is, I think Godzilla versus Godzilla versus King Ghidorah from 91, right? That's Heisei.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that is on Max. I think that is like the newest Godzilla movie that they have on Max, because I had to buy Final Wars physically because it's not streaming anywhere. But Dan, what
Again, Toho has the opportunity to make these films more accessible.
Yes,
And
please.
the ball's in their court, so
Yeah.
we'll be waiting
Please.
patiently in the meantime.
What are you gonna ask me, Parker?
Oh, well, I think we got to do the thing we always do at the end of the show, and that is pull up the wheel of monsters
Yep.
to figure out what movie we'll be discussing in December. The final Monster Zone episode of the year, which will be back strictly on Patreon, at least just for another month. There is talks about changing how we do this show, so stay tuned for that. Angela, can you share your screen?
Hold please.
Or pull up the wheel and then share your screen.
Stop. I'm trying to pull up not Godzilla.
You just did open.
I know. Hang on. Close.
Oh, that would have been a bad thing. That would have been a fucking horrible thing.
Oh, you don't like Mothra?
It's Happy Industries.
There it is.
That's a big egg. How did she lay that egg? Does anybody know? Does anybody care to hazard a guess why?
She pooped it out.
I know it's
Use your imagination.
It's just
There
a
it is.
void.
She expands.
Expand dong.
It could be like she lays the egg that's smaller and then it grows in size. That doesn't make any sense. What am I saying?
And the egg grew 3 sizes that day.
There we go.
Oh,
Okay, yeah,
I gotta
that's
click
yeah.
on-
That looks
wait.
legit.
I need to add that one that we were talking about.
Hey, that's that movie that what movie? Black Sheep?
Yeah.
We could. That's that one movie that Nicolas Cage said he was talking to John Carpenter about.
What are you talking about?
Matongo.
Oh. Hey, you did that one.
All right,
Hang
here
on.
we go.
I'm gonna add
Good stuff.
Black Sheep real quick. We were talking about it.
Wait, Black Sheep, is that's the New Zealand zombie sheep movie?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That's a fun flick.
You ready?
Did it?
You sharing it?
Yeah, right there.
Let's do this.
I hope you get Ape. God, I hope you get Ape. I've never seen it. The Mighty Peking Man is the one that I. No. No. Oh yes, baby. If I was closer, I'd go fucking grab it.
So the
Love
final
this movie.
episode of the year for the Monster Zone is going to be Space Amoeba. Let me see where the heck this is streaming, or where I can
Good
find
luck.
this one.
It's a Toho film.
It's on Criterion Network.
Oh yeah, speaking of which, Criterion, step your fucking game up, because I believe you have Rodan you need to release on disc. You need to release I believe you have War of the Gargantuas, Frankenstein Conquers the World, the Space Amoeba. If you don't have it, fucking get Gorath. Was it Daigoro? Whatever the giant space or the fucking amoeba thing. Not this space amoeba, but the other one. I can't remember. Gorath is the giant planet. You could do Latitude Zero. I've never seen that either.
Like I said, there's no reason why Rodan especially should not have a Blu-ray release.
No kidding, right?
I need it.
There's other ones that I'm forgetting. Toho is just shitting these things out. I love this movie, dude. I have a shirt. I have a Gazora shirt. I have it all, baby. I'm ready.
Didn't you wear that? Didn't you wear that
did.
during our 98 review?
I did. I have a repo of an old fuck, I can't remember if it's an M1 or an old Bear Claw vintage toy repop in there. I paid like $100 to get it from Japan. It's worth it.
You
God, I'm excited.
fucking nerd.
Oh, dude, hey, you talked about buying Godzilla stuff. Like, what was it last month? Last month, I did an order to Mandarake to get a. They had a Yanamania. I think that's how you pronounce it. They do retro style, vintage style toys of Bemstar from Ultraman Taro. I paid $70 for it.
You just said a lot of words that even I don't recognize.
Ultraman Kaiju, that's really hard to get. They only made like
Okay.
a couple figures of it. Yeah, that's gonna be it. We're looking forward to that next month, and hopefully, like Parker will keep track of our socials, or if you're on Patreon, we'll make posts on there, and with this going on for everybody it's going on our free feed, right?
Yeah, this episode will be free for everyone, so it will be on the main feed. Yeah. And I'm going to try to get this released right after Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, so he kind of goes in order for the movies, because it was luck of the draw. Like we spun the wheel and we landed on this. It was pretty crazy since we were already covering its the predecessor. But finally, Loy Sauce, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Yes. This was it was a lot of fun having you back on to talk about a movie that you enjoy more than the last time you were here. I mean, I'm glad you had fun the last time, but I'm glad you got to talk about a movie that you enjoy.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and it's always a good time. And I'm getting shown Godzilla toys. I will bring out my Mondo Attack Peter Mechagodzilla.
It's so cool.
That is cool.
That's dope. Awesome.
And bid you adieu.
Thank you guys very much.
Where can people find you if you want them to find you?
If you care to, you can follow me on Instagram at @GoLoySauceGo.
There we go. And you can hear his lovely voice over on the wonderful podcast Epic Film Guys.
Occasionally.
It's a great time. Justin runs a great show over there. So make sure to check out Epic Film Guys. Make sure to follow Loy Sauce over on Instagram. Those links will be down in the description. And thanks again for being here. This was a lot of fun. And Dan, Angela, another great show. All right, Dan. Outro us.
Appreciate you guys very much. Like always, this was the Monster Zone. And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
Bye.